All right, getting ready to reassemble now. I went ahead and just used really like liquid lava hot water, and that stuff actually rinsed off. I don't know if it was water soluble. It looked like it was just sort of like, it almost looked like it was like sugary. So I don't know if it was like syrup or something like that had just hardened over time, or honey. I mean, it was kind of dark brown, so I'm thinking syrup or something like that. But it came off really good. In here, there was obviously a ton of gunk in there, so what I basically did was I just took the liquid lava hot water, rinsed it inside and out, and then I spent the next 20 minutes or so with a blow dryer, really making sure that I got all this, as dry as possible. This chassis is aluminum, so that's not as big of a deal. But there are parts obviously that are steel. So this is the release clip for the battery door. That's steel. That actually looks like a stainless steel bolt. But I need to take that out real quick so I can make sure that I clean under that good. This is I'm assuming just steel in here in terms of the screw. There might be some internals. If there's an axle in there, that looks steel. Coming over to this side, steel down in there, and then in here, steel. So I just basically got in there with a hairdryer, really tried to dry it out as much as I could, but I see, little pockets, like right there, where there's still some moisture, so I'll get in there with a Q-tip and just make sure that I get all that moisture out, and that'll also give me an opportunity to really get into the cracks and crevices and make sure that I've completely cleaned the chassis so that it's nice and spotless before I start to reassemble. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get in here with the Q-tip, just sort of make sure that everything's dry, and then I'm going to let it sit. I'm going to let it sit open for a while. Clean down in here too. Make sure that if there's any screw holes that could potentially pool water, and get those cleaned out. And make sure I get this area here cleaned out as well. But then basically let it sit probably good 24 hours or so, and then make sure that it's completely dry before I start to reassemble the internals. But yeah, coming along, and all that shit's going, so we're going to move into the next phase of reassembling it, and then from there we'll see if it powers up, if it has any issues. It's a pretty straightforward board. I pulled all those out, all those components. So obviously I'm going to have to still clean around the tone pots, the trim pots, some switching here. I'm going to look at all of the resistors, do a visual on those, make sure that everything looks good on the board. But there's really not a whole lot to this from a processor standpoint or a chipset standpoint. It's basically just transistors, resistors, diodes, and capacitors. So pretty straightforward. Not really seeing a whole lot of stuff that is looking too bad right now. So far so good. But we'll keep working on this. We'll get this all cleaned up, and then we'll start to reassemble.